Virginia is unique out of all of the 50 states in the country in that our cities and counties are totally separate. You pay, if you live in the city, you pay a tax bill to the city. County likewise. Our ordinances, our local laws here in the city do not apply in the county and vice versa. For instance, a county sheriff's deputy couldn't arrest you in the city of Martinsville. Now, every other state in the union is different. The county is the main organization of local government, but Virginia, for whatever reason, it's always been that way in Virginia, so it always has been. Now, a town is subordinate to the county. If Martinsville becomes a town, it would be subordinate to the county. Now, what that means, if that happens, is the most important effect would be that the city schools and the county schools would merge. There would be one school system. Also, the city constitutional officers, which is the clerk of court, the Commonwealth's attorney, the treasurer, the sheriff, and the commissioner of revenue, those offices would be abolished. So you just have one sheriff, the sheriff of Henry County, Commonwealth's attorney of Henry County, what have you. Now, a lot of things with the future town of Martinsville would not change. We would still operate the utility services that we do now, garbage, water, sewer, electricity. All of those things could continue to operate by the town of Martinsville. The town would still have a police force. It would still have a fire department, presumably. But you could do all of those things. And the most important thing is because the town does not have a totally separate tax base from a county, towns in Virginia can annex land, which means they can grow. Right now, the city of Martinsville cannot grow. The city of Martinsville will never be any bigger than it is today. The town of Martinsville will be able to annex land, and my expectation would be that Martinsville became a town that probably would grow following the reversion, and you can start annexation proceedings 2 years after that.
If Martinsville reverts to status, is there a precedent in Virginia that have cities reverted to towns?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There have been 3 so far. The town of South Boston and Halifax County, they became a town probably 20 years ago. Then the city of Clifton Forge, they became a town in Allegheny County. That was probably 10 or 15 years ago. And the city of Bedford and Bedford County, they are reverting right now. The process isn't complete yet, but they're in the process of town now. There are other ways that it can no longer be a city. You can consolidate into one big city with the neighboring county. That happened down in Tidewater, and that's why Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Chesapeake are so large. Those were one cities in the middle of their counties. Virginia Beach, for instance, was in Princess Anne County. Back in the 60s, they became just a gigantic city. The difference is those go to referenda and be voted upon by the voters in the city and the county. Reversion does not. If a city decides to revert, it's simply through a court proceeding. There's like a miniature to show that you meet certain criteria for revert, which Martinsville does. And revert, and the court decides what are the terms of the reversion.
So City Council has been studying this issue. They've asked you for advice on the procedure. How long could this take from beginning to end? If the City Council says tonight, we want to revert, we want to start the process, how long would that actually happen under a best case scenario?
Say 2 to 3 years, and I think one important thing for all your listeners to keep in mind is Martinsville is very early in this process right now. The City Council has not decided to revert. They are not going to decide to revert tonight. Occurring at the City Council meeting tonight is, and I know everyone in Martinsville is sick of hearing this term, studies. There are 3 studies that, in my professional opinion, are absolutely necessary. 1, before you even made the decision whether you're going to revert, and 2, if we wanted to revert, we would have to have them for court. And those studies are where financially is Martinsville headed, continues to be a city. In other words, are you still viable if you're going to be a city? 2, if you decide to revert, what is the effect going to be on you and me as residents of the future town and the future county? Is your tax bill going to go up? Are your utilities going to go up? Or are they going to go down? What sort of services you expect to still receive and what would go away. We've talked a little bit about that. Those things need to be studied because I think the most important thing for most citizens to understand before they make a decision is, what's the bottom line effect of your checking account going to be? I think that's probably the biggest thing people would want to hear before they make a decision one way or the other on whether they would support reversion. And then the third study is what would a consolidated school system look like? That really is the effect of reversion, and certainly from an emotional standpoint, I think that's what people are going to be interested in. You got to have 3 studies. 1, to even decide if it's something you want to do, and 2, if it's something that the council decides they want to do. You need those things for court.
I feel good that they're being diligent in getting the background information before any decision is made, and again, very early in this process.
Extremely.
So let's look into the future 5 years should reversion occur, and I walk out into my yard and it's Thursday morning, which is my garbage pickup. Am I really going to see any difference in terms of the rubber hitting the
You're really not. The only big difference you would see if it were reverted to a town is that the yellow bus going up your street would be Henry County schools. Still be town of Martinsville police cars, be a town of Martinsville garbage truck picking up your trash, town of Martinsville utility truck if you were an issue with your electric box. The one big thing that I'm not able to predict, and that's why you need those studies, is another couple of months you'll have your tax tickets going out, and I don't know what the bottom line effect on those would be. It wouldn't be really significant, frankly. For most town residents in Martinsville, expect their tax bill to go down.